In a world of Johnnies, Timmies, and Spikes, we must all arrive at the win condition.
It is on a creature, not on a stick. Okay, stop saying that.
Don't you mean Nicol Bolas McCroll?
We're going to carn it. We're going to go back in time.
Coat of arms on attack seems really good.
We might have to return to battle for Return to Zendikar sometime soon. Hello again, and welcome back to the Win Condition Podcast, where we talk all things Magic the Gathering. My name is Sean. I'm your host. I'm joined with my co-host, Greg. How's it going, Greg?
Doing okay there, I think.
Awesome. Late nights for both of us, yeah?
Yeah. I think both of us were out playing last night.
Yep. Participating in our respective store championships at our local game stores, trying to win that Ixalan Mat playmat.
Which I still didn't get.
I know. There were actually a bunch of...
I get a second chance at GP Santa Clara.
Oh, nice. Yeah, no, there are even people there who are looking to get it so that they can turn around and sell it. So, if you really, really want one, check eBay. See if you can pull one down for a decent price. I actually showed up without a playmat, so I had to buy one. I ended up buying a Locust God playmat, which I was super excited about.
I've got 4 playmats sitting in my box.
What?
Yeah, I got a Reliquary Tower, Field Mist Border Post, Vitu Ghazi Guild Mage, and a squirrel riding a frog.
Oh yeah, I've seen all of those. Those are all quite nice. Yeah. You know what else is quite nice? Flipside Gaming at flipsidegaming.com, where you can order your Magic products, sealed or singles, other gaming products as well. And if your order is over $10, use that promo code WINCONDITION in all caps, and it'll save you 10% off your purchase and contribute to future show giveaways. So, Greg.
You know what? There's one thing I wanted to bring up real quick. This is an out-of-place topic. Because this is oddities and rarities. Have you been on eBay recently?
I have, actually, but not to look up oddities and rarities.
Or did you not see the textless foil Gaia's Cradle?
What? That has to be an altered art.
No. It is legit from Wizards of the Coast, certificate of authenticity.
Oh my god!
It is what it says here. 12,000.
Nah, what? That's ridiculous. Oh my god!
I don't know if it's really a true. This is coming from a company that is very high up and rated well. I mean, how do you get your hands on something like this? It's insane. You should go look it up on eBay. If you haven't, just put in textless foil Gaia's Cradle.
Oh, wow. It's a test printing. That's why. There's no
text.
Duh, textless. Oh, but it's not the usual one. Wow. That's interesting. Yeah.
Isn't that cool?
If you guys are interested, go on eBay. Look up foil textless Gaia's Cradle. This is legit. This is interesting. Wow.
Sorry,
wow.
Don't mean to derail us so much, but
there's some MTG Finance a little ahead of schedule for you there. All right, well, back on track. Why don't we're going to be talking some store championships, so let's move into the main phase. So, Greg, this last Friday, aka yesterday, we went to our respective local game stores hunting for what?
That Ixalan playmat.
Yes. Now.
And trying to find Elder Dinos.
Yeah. Now,
did you find an Elder Dino?
I did. That promo Galta Primal Hunger is it's pretty sweet. I'm definitely gonna try to make an EDH deck with that guy. That should be kind of fun.
I mean, he's already got a space for me in a deck.
Yep. So it was a draft format, and I know
that was yours.
True. Did you draft as well?
No, I did sealed.
Oh, you guys had sealed.
Oh man, that was so much fun.
Oh man, all this time I thought you drafted. That's right, because we had talked earlier in a previous episode about stores being able to determine which format they would be doing their store championships in. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
Well, Greg, why don't you tell us about your sealed pool and your experience at the store championship?
Gosh, so my sealed pool was pretty sweet. It wasn't the best, but I had opened. I can remember 5 of my 6 rares. One of them I don't remember. Must not have been inconsequential. Might have been an off-color rare, but I got a Conqueror's Galleon.
Nice.
I got Old Growth Dryads.
Ooh.
I got the Emperor's Vanguard, which is the guy that when he deals combat damage, you explore. And then Waker of the Wilds, which is the double green X, animate a land and give it X/1/1 counters. And then to top it all off, I got the Dino Dad himself, Gishath.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Saucy.
Yeah. So my deck actually had the support to play dinos. I think I had like 14, like 12 to 14 different dinosaurs. I had a Dinosaur Stampede, a Raptor Hatchling, 2 Nest Robbers, Kinjali's Collar, Priest. Oh, that was the other rare. Priest of the Awakening Sun.
Oh, I mean, why wouldn't you go Dinos with that guy?
Yeah. So I just pretty much had everything I wanted for it. I didn't have some of the really strong cards for the Dino deck, but what it really came down to is I played in all my matches. My buddy went there too, and he played. He opened up the bomb pool where he got 4 Walk the Planks and 2 Vraskas.
Jeez.
On top of a Verdant Sun's Avatar. Ruin Raider, the Ruin Raider dude that makes
that raids for you draw a card like you bob kind of.
I thought it was I might not be that one. I think it was the one that makes pirates.
Oh, the fleet captain.
Yeah,
that's it. Yeah.
Okay. And he just had some good stuff. I think he wasn't playing with a Glacial Fortress and something else. Anyhow. So, round 1, I've won. Round 2, we get paired against each other. And I'm like, okay, well, I concede the win to you because you have the better deck. And he's like, well, let's just play it out anyways. And I'm like, okay. 10 minutes later, I had lost and he had won. So I was like, yeah, I know. I won my next round against a local grinder. I feel really bad for him because... like game 2, he had a 2-land hand and he did not go anywhere.
Oh, that's never fun.
Yeah. At game 1, I came back from a 1 life. I won at 1 life because I was able to block his. I can't remember the name. The pirates that are 2-drop 4/3 that when they die they give the opponent 2 treasures.
Okay.
So I was on 6 lands, and I had brutal. Like a 3/2 out. Probably a Ravenous Daggertooth, so I blocked his 4/3, taking 1, going to 1. I'm like, okay, I have 6 lands, 2 treasures. Top deck is Gishath. I have a Gishath and a Thundering Spineback in my hand, which the Spineback's that +1/+1 Lord for dinos and makes dinos.
Right.
So I'm like, alright, I'm going to jam Gishath down and hope he doesn't have removal. And he goes... Whoa, that is giant. So I swing in with it, of course, because why would you not? And I get 1 off the top. It's a Sun-Crowned Hunter. I'm able to block effectively his next barrage, and then the next turn I get in for a full 7, and I pull 3 dinos out.
Jeez.
And drop the Thundering Spineback. And he goes, okay, that's game.
Yeah, Gishath's pretty good when he gets in for that damage.
Yeah.
Jeez. Well, that sounds like fun.
Oh, and then the cut to top 8, I played the mirror match, and he just had more dinos than me. He had the Sunwing. He had the Regisaur Alpha. It was not a fun game.
Regisaur Alpha's a good card.
Yeah, it is. It really
Very
is.
good card.
So tell me about your place.
So we drafted... and it was 4 rounds, and we did not do a cut to top 8. It was just whoever had the best record at the end would win the playmat, and if there was a tie, there was a playoff. But I ended up going I did pretty well. I did 2 1-1. Unfortunately, that draw was really sort of unfortunate, but yeah, I'd never really considered myself. I never considered myself that good of a drafter. I much prefer sealed. I guess you could say I got kind of lucky with my pulls, but I think I drafted pretty well. I actually was listening to Limited Resources Sunset episode on Ixalan on 1.5 speed on the way to the card shop, trying to get some last minute advice on drafting. But anyway, so I pack one, pick one, settle the wreckage. Which seemed really, really, really good. I mean, that's a rare that people aren't necessarily expecting. They don't necessarily play around it that much, and it's
Nope.
an aggressive format. So I was thinking to myself, everyone's going to be going 2-drops and 1-drops and quick stuff, so should be pretty good. So, pack one, pick one, settle the wreckage. My second pick, it was my second or third pick. I'm not sure exactly which ones. It was oh, that's right. It was a Pterodon Knight and a Raptor Companion. So I was going heavy into white, and I was wanting the dinosaur theme. But the best cards coming after that were Bishop Soldier. So that's a 2/2 vampire with lifelink. And, oh, I'm sorry, Pterodon Knight is a 3/3 for 3 and a white that has flying as long as you control another dinosaur, hence the want for the dinosaurs. And so I just kept on kind of going white. And then I saw a Pounce. And I was like, well, if I'm going to be going with dinosaurs, why not go green? So I grabbed a Pounce and kind of just zooming through the rest of the first 2 packs. I got a Belligerent Brontodon with 2 Looming Altosaurs, which is very nice. I got a Territorial Hammerskull, a Colossal Dreadmaw, a second Bishop Soldier. I ended up getting one of the Paladin of the Bloodstained, which is a 3/2 for 3 and a white that poops out a 1/1 vampire with lifelink. And then Crash the Ramparts, that little +3/+3 and trample till end of turn. So I was looking pretty solid. I think I even got a Slash of Talons in there too. Then I opened my third pack, Carnage Tyrant. I was like, oh, this is so good. So I nabbed that Carnage Tyrant, filled out the rest of my deck, and I had a really, really solid green-white Dinos deck. Oh, and I picked up an Imperial Aerosaur in that third pack as well.
Nice.
So, yeah, very, very strong. Round 1, I actually play against the Mirror. And the guy I was playing against actually had 2 Territorial Hammerskulls, which were kind of rough. But I ended up eking it out in 3. I also drafted this one green card that's 2 and a green, prevent all damage to creatures, and your creatures get hexproof. It ended up being not that good. I definitely thought it was just a straight up fog, and it wasn't. So, I forgot. I also drafted a Field of Ruin because I did notice there were quite a few of those flip cards passed around. So, really want to be able to take care of any of those pesky lands. So anyway, win round 1. Go up against this opponent in round 2, who goes. What's that? 4/3 for 2?
Wanted Scoundrels, I think, is what it is.
That's right. So basically, Wanted Scoundrels, Pirates, Cutlass, and the pirate that can't attack unless you control an artifact. And it was just boom, boom, boom. I couldn't even. I think I was low on mana on that one too, but I had to settle the wreckage in my hand. But anyway, so I got beat down that one pretty bad, and then just overrun with a wide board state in game 2. So I lost that round. Round 3, I play against a blue-green deck, and this unfortunately was the game we drew. The first game took over half an hour. I want to say almost 35 minutes. And in the second game, we were just grinding. That was the game where I had my Belligerent Brontodon with my 2 Looming Altosaurs out, which was pretty huge. I was able to slice and twain my opponent's One with the Wind on their creature. So
nice.
That was really helpful, and I did that, in response to the combat, so I was able to block and kill their creature, which was huge. But anyway, yeah, so I drew that round, and all the while, I think all these games I hadn't played my Settle the Wreckage or a Carnage Tyrant. I was trying to kind of keep it secret, but at that point I was 1-1-1. I knew I wasn't really going to win much, so at that point I started just kind of talking to people, being like, "Hey, look what I pulled." They're like, "Ooh, Carnage Tyrant, wow." So the last round, I end up playing against a blue-black kind of aggressive deck, but it had some control as well. And I got kind of lucky. He got kind of mana screwed, and I jumped way out ahead. I think in game two I had Bishop Soldier, Bishop Soldier into Imperial Aerosaur.
Ooh.
So yeah, getting a Bishop Soldier at +1/+1 and flying. Oh, that's right. He had out a Kinjali Suncaller, so the Aerosaur couldn't attack, but the soldiers could, and I was just gaining. I think it was at 37 life at the end of that game. So anyway, I ended up 3-1-1, and per the standings, finished 7th. Got myself a sweet deck box.
Yep.
And it was really, really fun. I must say, I don't draft much at all, but it was a blast to draft a deck. Oh, go ahead.
That reminds me of my last draft from Ixalan. I think I told you about it. Do you remember that?
The
double Vona.
Yeah. That double Vona's a house, man. Luckily I didn't see any Vonas out here.
There
today.
was one pulled in our sealed pools. The guy did make it to top 8, which is not very hard. We had a small pool. But it was definitely interesting because he was not going to play with it in the first place, and I'm like, dude, that card is busted. There's no way that you should not be splashing for that.
Right.
Because honestly, if you're in any of those colors and you see Vona, you take it.
Yeah, the lifelink and the ability to blow stuff up is so good.
Mm-hmm.
So
it really is strong.
Right. So, actually, before we move on, were there any sort of underperformers or overperforming surprises that you had in the deck? Because I know I had just a couple.
I mean, Gishath is always good.
Yeah. No, Gishath is amazing. But specifically, an overperformer that I saw was Verdant Rebirth.
Mm-hmm.
For 1 and a green, you get an instant that says, until end of turn, target creature gains. When this creature dies, return it to its owner's hand and draw a card. So, essentially, it's kind of draw 2 cards for 2. Because if you block, like, let's say I would swing in and they really wanted to kill my Territorial Hammerskull. So there was actually one play where I want to say, I forget if I pounced it or not, but either way, the Hammerskull was going to die, but it was going to kill another creature on my opponent's board. So I Verdant Rebirthed it, came back to my hand, drew a card, and played it on the same turn. So I was very surprised with how good that card was, because your opponent's not expecting you to get your creature back, let alone drawing an extra card. I mean, it gets you ahead, and it just did a whole lot for me. I was very happy with that.
That's good.
Yeah. Then an underperformer that I must say I was a little less than enthused about. I think I only cast it once. Was
it Carnage Tyrant?
No, I was going to say Legion's Judgment. It's 2 and a white for a sorcery. Destroy target creature with power 4 or greater.
Yeah, there's a lot of 3 power or 2 power dudes in Ixalan.
Yep.
Pious Interdiction is a little bit better.
Yes, I got one of those too. Totally forgot to mention that.
Yeah. I had 2 in my pool.
That's really nice. That's a very, very good card.
Yeah.
In fact, the only time I was ever able to cast Legion's Judgment was when my opponent played an equipped a creature, and then finally I was able to blow it up. It was like a 3-power creature with the equipment that gives +1/+0 and gives you treasures or something when it deals damage. So, it was just enough for me to actually cast that spell. But yeah, not too excited about Legion's Judgment. Cool. Well,
yeah. Overall, it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed what I pulled, what I got.
Yeah.
All of the above.
Oh, yeah. And I saw a lot of people using their unstable lands, which was kind of fun. I mean, who doesn't like unstable lands? They're amazing.
They're pretty sweet, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And so, Greg, you also finished in the top 8, correct?
Yeah, I took 7th as well.
Me too.
Because going in a mirror match into your top 8 is not a fun way to play.
Right.
But it happens, and there's not much you can control sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, okay, cool. Well, store championships, awesome. Think it's a great way to get people out there.
I like it a lot as a replacement to the
Game day?
whole game day. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree. You mean you don't like fighting against minotaurs and hydras and gods?
I mean, not even that. You were doing all sorts of weird things.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it was awesome that they gave us a cool playmat to play for. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, overall, store championships. Good job, Wizards. You're on the right track. Um, well, let's move on to our next section. We went ahead and made a couple lists for you guys of our favorite new cards and favorite reprints from 2017. So why don't we jump on over to Through the Looking Glass?
We've decided to do a best new card in each color, and then a best reprint, our favorite set, and a favorite commander.
Yep. And these sets include everything released in 2017. So Aether Revolt, Amonkhet,
Commander, dual decks, transform.
right, Hour of Devastation, Ixalan, um, and for the reprints, obviously Modern Masters and Iconic Masters, and Unstable as well.
Yeah.
So why don't we're just going to go ahead and kick things off. We're going to go color by color down the list. We'll go new cards first, and then we'll do the reprints. So, Greg, what was your favorite white card of 2017?
I think everybody will know this. It won't be much of a surprise, but it is definitely Anointed Procession.
Ooh, well, for you, obviously, you're Mr. Anointed Procession over there.
Hey, I enjoy putting tokens. Anytime I can get value from one card to give me more than one dude or more than one thing, I'm down for it.
Yep. And that was a card that came out at a certain price, and a lot of people were like, that doesn't seem right. And sure enough, didn't take long for it to bounce up to that almost $10 range. That card is just really, really good. My favorite white card, and this might stir up a little bit of controversy, but my favorite white card is Felidar Guardian. I believe it died for the sins of another. I think that its interactions with other planeswalkers could have been fantastic. I think Saheeli should have gotten banned instead of Felidar, but Wizards is not going to ban a planeswalker. Not only that, but a planeswalker that's headlining a set. But I really believe that Felidar Guardian was an amazing, amazing card that really could have been pushed to make some amazing brews. But because that entered the battlefield triggers on all these creatures are what Wizards is kind of moving towards now. Obviously, creatures are more important than spells. But anyway, yeah, my favorite card is by far Felidar Guardian, and I definitely think Saheeli should have gotten the ban hammer instead of it.
So are we fighting on this?
Sure, go ahead.
Because I think you have the right choice in the fact that Saheeli should have been banned.
Hey, there we go. That's not fighting. We're agreeing. What the heck?
Hey, I had to mess with you a little bit.
Yeah, no worries.
All
okay,
right,
well, let's move along. What's your favorite new blue card?
It's an enchantment, and it's Swarm Intelligence.
Oh, you
Sorry,
Commander
it's not
player.
Search for Azcanta. Card's cool, don't get me wrong, but this card is just so much better.
Yeah.
The ability to have every instant or sorcery you cast copied is so strong. I mean, the dreams that you can have with this card are so voluminous. Just imagine Genesis Wave for 12 copied.
Oh my God, that just seems like GG right there.
Right? I would hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what is your favorite blue card?
Well, it's featured in one of my favorite new decks that we saw this year, the God Pharaoh's Gift deck. My favorite new blue card is Champion of Wits, and I
would
think
have never guessed.
I mean, it's a creature that has card draw attached to it, and you can eternalize it to essentially draw 4 cards and discard 2. It's such a great card for control decks, for mid-range decks. Yeah, it's amazing.
I am willing to say that expect to see this card more often coming into the new standard when Dominaria comes out because it is good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
And again, it came out at around $1, I think, and then it
Yeah.
jumped up. I think it's settled a little bit now, but it was definitely one of those that flew under the radar for just a moment before someone finally broke it.
Yeah, it really did. So moving on
Yes.
to black.
Yeah.
I think this card did not get enough play in standard, but I definitely love how it plays in EDH, and that is Torment of Hailfire.
That's a brutal card.
Yeah, it really is. Like, there's a lot of black cards out there. There's a lot of things that do a lot of stuff, but I feel that this card, functionality, when played at the right time, can decimate any deck.
Yes.
And if you're playing in a multiplayer game, the value even goes up higher.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Definitely a Commander All-Star, which definitely fits your bill.
Hey, I really enjoy playing EDH. It's a lot of fun.
It is.
I mean,
it is.
Commander.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, I'm an old guy when it comes to playing Magic, so it's always
No.
EDH in my heart.
We'll call it EDH. That's what it was when we started, and yeah.
Yeah. What is your black card?
My favorite new black card is Kitesail Freebooter, straight out of Ixalan.
You mean Brain Magnet's replacement?
Oh no, it's no Brain Magnet. It's way better than Brain Magnet. Along with another card I'll mention later on in this list, propelled a new modern 5-color humans deck to not only competitive levels but tournament winning levels. I just think it's amazing. It's an uncommon. It flies. It's a 1/2, and it disrupts your opponent's hand. Just an amazing, aggressive card that has a lot of control aspects to it as well. But yeah, Kitesail Freebooter is my pick for best new black card.
It's pretty good.
Yep. Greg,
Don't
what
like
is your...
Bontu?
Bontu's okay. Bontu's okay. I did get an Invocation Bontu, which, yeah, I was excited about, but Kitesail definitely takes the cake. You couldn't listen to podcasts or, see YouTube videos or watch tournament coverage without seeing Kitesail Freebooter mentioned or seen for a while. It was just
that's
new hotness.
Very true. That's very true.
Everywhere, right? Now, I know a lot of people might say, Fatal Push is a good new card, but yeah, it is, and it's obvious. It's in every deck that's in Modern and Legacy and stuff, but if you're talking about favorite new cards, Kitesail Freebooter definitely takes the cake for favorite. Yeah. Greg, what's your favorite new red card?
Continuing on with the theme of EDH, it is Sunbird's Invocation.
What? Didn't see that one coming.
Right? The ability to cascade every spell you cast from your hand is so strong. I can't say the number of games that I've played this in, and just won. Now, on top of that, this card is gotten to be played in Standard.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So any card that can be played in Standard is a big, bomby ability. Hey, I'm down.
Totally. I mean, you wish Swarm Intelligence was played in Standard, right?
No. The problem is that Standard's a responsive game, and Swarm Intelligence does nothing there.
True. It is a much more proactive spell. So.
Yeah. It's the, I want to do some crazy things, so I'll double Damnation.
Yeah. That's pretty good. Destroy everything and then destroy it again, just for good measure.
just pulverize everything.
Hey, if you got a regenerating creature, that might actually work.
What? You're right.
Right. Okay, so my favorite new red card is Glorybringer out of Amonkhet. You got that 4/4 hasty flying dragon that can exert to do 4 damage to target creature or planeswalker. One of the most powerful cards you've seen in Standard. Featured in a lot of the Temur Energy deck builds. I love dragons. I love hasty dragons even more. And the fact that this one is doing the Flame Tongue Kavu thing also. I mean, exerting, yeah, but you don't have to exert. If you don't have any necessary targets, you could just swing in with a 4/4 hasty dragon for 5 mana. I mean, it's pretty awesome.
It does stuff.
It really does, And I did pre-order 3 foil Glorybringers at like $5 a piece or something like that. So
that seems pretty good. You didn't get any of the game day promo ones, did you?
No, I did not. No,
The
I
thing's
did
so
not.
sweet.
Unfortunately, yep. All right, well, Greg, moving right along. What is your favorite new green card?
You probably already know it. It is Growing Rights of Itlamok.
Greg, you've never talked about this card before in your life. What's going on?
What? Never? I'm pretty sure.
I mean, it only flips into something like some sort of
Gaia's
rocking
Cradle.
chair. Oh yeah, Gaia's Cradle.
Yeah, so it's too generic and a green. Look at the top 4 cards of your library. Put a creature card from among them into your hand. The rest of the cards at the bottom of your library in any order. And then if you have 4 or more creatures at the end of your turn, transform it into Cradle of Itlamok, which taps for a green or taps at a green for each creature you control.
Sounds like a deal to me. Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Great
yeah.
card. Great card.
Huge fan of this. I think it plays really well in a lot of EDH decks. Has no play in Standard, of course. But hey, fun cards are fun, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. My favorite new green card came out of Hour of Devastation, and that is Ramanop Excavator. I think everybody, when they saw this card, just immediately went straight to its partner, Crucible of Worlds. It is on a creature, not on a stick. Okay, stop saying that. It is amazing because it's a 3-drop creature, which in the world of Modern puts it in the realm of being able to be hit by Collected Company. I think that this card still has not been brought to full power level in representative formats. It's so good. I mean, the fact that it's a creature makes it a little bit more fragile than the actual Crucible of Worlds, but Ramanop Excavator is definitely a powerful card that a lot of people were excited to see printed, and still I don't think has seen its full potential yet. So keep brewing out there.
I'd agree. Yeah.
Keep brewing, guys. All right, so Greg, what is your favorite multicolored card?
So this is not actually my favorite. It is my most hated because the card is that busted.
Oh no.
It is Marisil the Pretender.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, so this is a 4-drop, came out of Commander, and when it enters the battlefield, you can exile a creature or artifact from hand or graveyard and put a cage counter on it. And Marisol the Pretender can use the ability of those cards exiled by her once per turn. Now remember, this is something that happens. She can be bounced and brought back and exile more cards.
Yep.
So a lot of times people turn it into, like, one of the first cards they'll get is a Mirage Mirror, because being able to turn Marisil into a swamp when that wrath happens is really good.
That does seem really, really good.
Yeah, no. So it's way strong. Most people are seeing it in competitive realms of EDH, and I am not a huge fan of it, in honesty. I think it could even be played in formats like Vintage and Legacy, because if you hit a Time Vault and a Voltaic Key, you could win off herself.
Yep.
I mean, it's crazy.
I remember when we saw this card for the first time, people were like, holy cow, what are the possibilities with Marisil? Like, artifacts and her are just, they go hand in hand, and it's blacks and blue, so you fill your graveyard and you just go nuts.
Yeah, you forgot about red.
Oh yeah, and red. I guess Faithless Looting will do that for you too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good
Anyhow, that's my multicolor, because I hate having to play against her.
Mm-hmm.
Or him. It. Them.
Yeah.
Them.
My favorite multicolored card is none other than our Lord and Savior, Nicol Bolas, God Pharaoh himself. I mean, we're now seeing...
Don't you mean Nicol Bolas McCroll?
What? Explain yourself. I'm not going to have you dropping bombs like that and just...
Our Lord and Savior, Emrakul.
Oh, gosh. Okay. All right. Yeah, that's the last thing we need is Emrakul showing back up.
Tainty Nicol Bolas, maybe.
Yeah. All right. Well, anyway, in the interest of keeping us on track here, so Nicol Bolas, God Pharaoh, is a 7-drop planeswalker. Okay, whatever. He's got 4 abilities. They're all super duper strong, and everyone was excited to see what the new Nicol Bolas planeswalker was going to do. I don't think he disappointed at all. He came, he saw, he conquered, he devastated.
Yeah, he did.
It was so good. And he's even seeing play in some standard decks, which is extremely fun to see him, in the spotlight. That's where he deserves to be. He is the most cruel being in the multiverse, one of the oldest beings in the multiverse.
Ugin's pretty cruel.
True. But if you haven't read any of the story, what are you doing with yourself? You should listen to our story episodes because he is not to be trifled with. So anyway,
have almost all of Amonkhet in there?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Go back and listen to Amonkhet. Jeez, I can't believe it. We've been doing this for that long.
I know. We've been doing this for about a year. I mean, it's crazy. Anyway, so yeah, Nicol Bolas God Pharaoh, my favorite multicolored new card here. Greg, what's your favorite new artifact?
Once again, I am a huge fan of doubling spells, and it is Primal Amulet, which is a 4-drop artifact that says instants and sorceries cost 1 less, and whenever you cast one of them, put a counter on it. When it has 4 or more counters, transform it to Primal Wellspring. When it's on the other side, Primal Wellspring allows you to tap for any color mana, and any instant or sorcery cast with this may be copied.
Wait, Greg, that's a land. We're talking artifacts here. Are you cheating?
What? It's a little bit of both. I'm pretty sure my green card was a land too.
I think it was too. No, you're correct.
I am really a huge fan of these flip cards. They do so much.
Yeah.
They're really fun to play with. They do a lot of fun things, and just being able to put them on the board, it makes people think about what they need to deal with. If they need to deal with that, if you have a secondary plan, do you have cards that need to be countered in your hand instead of this? It leaves a lot of questions to be beheld.
Right. Yep. Absolutely. Well,
do you like Captain's Hook?
It's okay. I think it's going to be a little better than people give it credit for, but I think it's okay.
So what's your favorite artifact?
My favorite artifact, surprise, surprise, from Aether Revolt, Walking Ballista. This is XX for a 0/0 artifact creature that comes into play with X 1/1 counters on it, and then you can remove a 1/1 counter to do 1 damage to target creature or player. So the first place my mind went to with this card was I wanted to play this in a legacy deck with Mikaeus the Unhallowed in a Reanimator. So you go turn 1, you go Swamp, Dark Ritual, you entomb your Mikaeus, then you reanimate Mikaeus, and then you drop Walking Ballista for 0. Walking Ballista dies, but then it has Undying, so it comes back with a 1/1 counter on it. You remove that 1/1 counter to shoot your opponent. It dies. It comes back with a 1/1 counter on it, etc., 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 killing your opponent on turn 1. And I know that's a little rude, yeah, but it seriously is it's such an amazing card. It's so powerful. It's seeing play in all formats. You got standard, you got modern, you got legacy, and you've got vintage. Although, I don't actually remember seeing it in legacy that much, but definitely in vintage, in those shops decks that we talked about earlier on in the season. Just an all-around great card. Super powerful, kind of busted, but Walking Ballista, my favorite artifact of 2017.
Yeah.
So Greg, what is your favorite new land?
So we did not get a lot of new lands this year other than the flip lands. So mine is going to go to Water Market. The ability to tap and add 2 colorless for any card that has a watermark is actually really strong. I mean, imagine a Judge Foil card, or maybe a Wurmcoil Engine.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a soul land.
Sweet. Yeah. It's really good. I like it. It plays a lot of stuff. It's very fun. But yeah, it's kind of a whatever you want. What is your land?
So, my favorite new land actually harkens back to my Kitesail Freebooter pick, because Unclaimed Territory from Ixalan helped solidify this 5-color humans deck in Modern. Not only that, but Unclaimed Territory, for those who might not know, you can tap it for a colorless mana, or when it enters the battlefield, you name a creature type, and you tap it to add 1 mana of any color, but it can only be used to play creatures of the chosen type. So in that humans deck, so Unclaimed Territory also does a great job of impersonating a very expensive land from a previous set. That might come up a little bit later, but it's an uncommon, so it's readily available for everybody. Enables a lot of multicolored tribal decks, which is pretty much what Ixalan is all about. So you might even see more of this with the release of Rivals of Ixalan.
Man, I sure hope so.
Yeah. So anyway, Unclaimed Territory is my pick for best new land of 2017. Greg, what is your favorite commander from 2017?
So mine is it is technically not from 2017, but it was 2017 for me because I picked it up.
Okay.
It is Hazazin Tamar.
Why don't you tell us what Hazazon Tamar does? Because I've looked at that guy before thinking, I want this dude.
Everybody's looked at this guy wanting this dude. So he is a 2/4 legendary creature Sand War that casts 4 generic, 1 green, 1 white, and 1 red. And he says, at the beginning of your next upkeep, put a number of 1/1 green, red, white Sand Warrior tokens onto the battlefield equal to the number of lands you control.
Dang.
Yeah.
That's a lot of green, red, white Sand Warrior creature. I thought they were colorless. I didn't know they were colored.
They're green, red, white.
Wow.
Yeah. I'll tell you a trick card with that in a moment. But, and then what you do is if he dies or leaves play, exile all Sand Warriors.
Yep.
Now, that is any creature on the battlefield that has both creature types, Sand and Warrior. So if your opponent is playing Dr. Julius Jumblemorph or Mistform Ultimus or any Changelings, they're gone.
Yeah.
So like a Mirror Entity, too.
Yep. Totally.
It could be a very big blowout card.
You can also use, what was that card? Shield of Velis Vel, or one of those. It's the white instant that makes all creatures a certain type. So you're like, guess what? You've got all Sand Warriors or whatever now. And then Hazazon goes away, and so does your entire board.
Yeah, no, it's kind of funny. But the trick card with this general that I love the most is Knight of New Alara, which is a 2 generic green-white human knight that's like a 2/2, and he says each other multicolor creature gets +1/+1 for each of its colors. So those Sand Warriors are no longer 1/1s, they are 4/4s.
That does make a whole heck of a lot of sense. Wow. Good deal.
Yeah. And of course, you could add in like any of the lieges for extra value, but Knight of New Alara is a must-have for that deck.
I mean, Warstorm Surge?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so for my favorite commander, it actually is new, but my favorite commander to come out of 2017 was the Dragon. As I've said before, I love dragons, and this thing is just dumb. It's huge, costs a ton of mana, and the Eminence ability is super powerful. Across all the new commander decks that we got this year, Eminence is probably one of the most powerful things you will see. Making your dragons cost less is huge because a lot of dragons are expensive. And the fact that it's 5 color means you can go absolutely nuts. I mean, you probably want to throw that Unclaimed Territory in this deck so you can cast the Dragon even easier. So, anyway, that's my favorite new commander. And, Greg, what is to round out the new section, what is your favorite new set of 2017?
I am a giant fan of Ixalan.
You're
Dinos
one
and
of
pirates
few.
are great. What?
One of few.
One of few. I think the set's really fun to draft. The only problem is that when you're drafting this, anything but dinos, you have to get the actual parts of it to be good. But it's a lot of fun to play.
It is. Now, I agree with you. I think it's a great set. I just remember hearing that a lot of players who drafted it, and even like standard players, I mean, there was maybe 1 or 2 good cards that came out that are actually seeing play in standard. But overall, feelings about Ixalan have been kind of meh unless you are a commander player. Then there's a whole lot of good stuff in this deck. And I mean, if you love dinos, and it's the first set with freaking dinosaurs in it. I mean, that's amazing. It caused a whole bunch of cards to get errata to creature type dinosaur. I mean, what set does that? That's amazing. So I could definitely see Ixalan how it is your favorite new set.
And you mean 7th edition, right?
7th edition, what?
7th edition. No, that was the last time we had a giant changing of creature types.
Oh, what was that?
That was the big changeover where they started going with creature race class.
Oh, so we're adding all the old cards, like from Revised and stuff, making them officially. Oh, I didn't know that's when it happened. Okay, that
yeah,
was
it was like 7th edition.
Hiatus. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Well, me being the degenerate artifact lover that I am, and a lot of my picks mirrored this in my favorites. My favorite set of 20.
Kaladesh?
My favorite set is Aether Revolt, and
okay.
we did get some really amazing cards out of it. Like, I think Heart of Kiran is amazing. I think Fatal Push is amazing. I think Baral is amazing. I think you get a lot of great, powerful cards out of Aether Revolt. Some of which required a banning wrongfully, in my opinion. But either way, Aether Revolt is my favorite set of 2017.
Okay.
So we're actually going to take a transition. We're going to Karn it. We're going to go back in time, and we're going to go through all the different colors again, but our favorite reprints of each color. So without further ado, I'll go ahead and start this section.
No.
My favorite white reprint, Archangel of Thune. I think it's a amazingly bomby card, super powerful. It's getting its first reprint out of, it was one of the M sets, I forget, but just all around very powerful card, and absolutely love it. Archangel of Thune, my pick for favorite white reprint. Greg, what's yours?
Mine goes hand in hand with Archangel of Thune because it is the Auroch champion. This card was $25 not too long ago, and for no real reason other than the fact that it was being played in Modern excessively. This card is just so much fun to play with. I mean, double white, 1/1, cleric. I think it's a human cleric. And it has protection from red and protection from black, and whenever a creature enters the battlefield, you gain a life.
It's so good, and I'm so glad it got a reprint because it was getting extremely expensive.
It really was. I mean, anytime a card that's a base of but not a bomb reaches over like $20, I tend to think it should be reprinted. And there's a couple on here that are in that avenue. All right, so pushing on. This blue card of yours. What's your blue card?
My favorite blue card that is a reprint is Ancestral Vision. Still, unfortunately, I don't think I own any of these, but it is one of those cards that I hope to someday. And yeah, it was super pricey. Definitely needed a reprint. And I love that these new As Foretold Living End decks are becoming a thing in Modern. Because As Foretold is super powerful. And being able to cast Ancestral Visions for free and cast it the turn that it leaves your hand is amazing. I mean, drawing 3 cards for free is busted. So I think that Ancestral Vision is definitely needed of a reprint, and thank goodness it finally got one. So Greg, what's your favorite blue reprint?
Consecrated Sphinx.
Oh, you Commander player, you.
That is a 4 generic blue Sphinx that has flying that says whenever an opponent draws a card, you can draw 2 cards.
Yep.
Yeah.
Super good, super busted, super amazing.
Yeah.
All right, so for black, my favorite reprint is Liliana of the Veil. I've been fortunate enough to actually own 3 of these since the Innistrad block, and playing with them is extremely satisfying and powerful. I remember in Innistrad they had the Solar Flare deck, and she was instrumental in getting those cards into your graveyard, as well as preventing your opponent from doing what they're doing, only so that you can reanimate them with Sun Titan later and just, win. So yeah, Liliana of the Veil is and she's climbing right back up to where she was price-wise. I mean, she's super powerful, super sought after, played in a variety of formats. So yeah, Liliana of the Veil is my pick. Greg, what's your favorite black reprint?
Damnation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, do I have to say much there?
You almost convinced me to change my pick. That was. I mean, do you remember when it was revealed, the hype?
Yeah. No, the just the sheer talk about this card, the fact that they finally put it in a reprint set. The
Yep.
card is so good.
Yep.
The ability to destroy all creatures can't be regenerated. People look for it, and putting it back in black is great because the old versions of that were getting to the point of like $70.
Yep.
It was a really crazy number.
Yeah.
And now the only one that's really expensive is the Invocation one.
Yep. Isn't the foil textless one out there too?
Yeah, but there was a lot of those when they
Oh.
ended the MPR program. A lot
Yep.
of people got like a Day of Judgment, a Wrath of God, and a Damnation.
Yeah.
I know
Yeah,
I've
no.
got like 2 of those. I
I'm still-
think they're around like 50.
Still looking for that Invocation Damnation. That would be so
I
nice.
have a friend who has one, and I'm trying to get it off of him.
Good
But he's
luck.
unwilling to trade.
Good luck. Good luck.
I
All right.
know.
Well, next is red, and I believe that when a deck that is relatively inexpensive, except for one card, gets that one card reprinted, making the deck extremely affordable, that means that Goblin Guide did a lot of favors for a lot of people looking to break into Modern, because Burn is already one of the cheapest decks that you can get into, but the fact that Goblin Guide was getting up there like $30, I don't even, maybe 40 or something like that, I don't know, but it got that reprint and it jacked that price way down to sub $10. So Burn is a very affordable deck, and we needed that Goblin Guide reprint. I mean, it was originally printed in Zendikar, hasn't seen a reprint since, so it is new art, and whether you like it or not, it is a reprint, and it tanked the price. So thank goodness.
Yeah.
Get your Goblin Guides while you can. Get into Burn, get into Modern. It's awesome.
Well,
Greg,
Mon,
what's your...
I got a question for you. So you said it like Goblin Guide had to do some favors and pull some strings. Is it anything like what Deadpool did to get a movie?
Sure.
Okay.
And I think Goblin Guy probably has a similar attitude to Deadpool. I mean, it's get in, get after it. Who cares? He probably cusses a lot.
Yeah.
But
All
anyway,
right, so my favorite red card that we got reprinted came out of the Explorers of Ixalan. It is Shared Animosity.
ooh, that's a good one.
This is a really strong tribal card. It is 2 generic and a red that says whenever a creature you control attacks, it gets +1/+0 for each other creature attacking that shares a creature type with it.
Nice.
I mean, Coat of Arms on attack seems really good.
Yeah, one of the first cards spoiled for Explorers of Ixalan, and you were just over the moon excited, just hitting me up on the phone being like, guess what's in this set? So, yeah, no, that definitely a great card, and awesome pick.
Yeah.
So moving on to green, this is my personal favorite green reprint, simply because I've never owned one, and now that I do, I've played with it, and it is dumb. It is Craterhoof Behemoth. One of the mythics out of my subpar Modern Masters 2017 box, but still, it's a Craterhoof, and it is amazing. So much fun to play with. I love doing big, dumb, Timmy things with any green deck that I have. So, yeah, Craterhoof Behemoth, my pick for favorite green reprint. Greg, what do you got?
I've got a more competitive card. It is Lotus Cobra.
What?
What? That is a generic and a green 2/1 creature snake that has a landfall trigger to add a mana of any color to your mana pool.
Seems really good. I mean, on an open board, you get in for 2 damage. It's pretty good. And then Realm Razor, Lotus Cobra. Kids, look it up.
But
awesome.
You're rude.
All right, so moving right along, we're on to multicolor, favorite multicolor reprint. I'm going to go ahead and say Voice of Resurgence. The only card in Dragon's Maze worth a penny now is worth less. So,
Yeah.
a mainstay in any green and white deck in Modern. Also pretty good in Commander. A lot of people doing a lot of rude things during your turn. So, yeah, Voice of Resurgence definitely needed a reprint. Finally got one, and thank goodness. So I now own 2. Probably should get my other 2 soon while they're cheap.
Yeah,
So-
yeah. All right,
right.
so I'm a Cheater McCheaterson. My favorite reprint is the Scarab God.
Greg, that came out in Hour of Devastation. That's not a reprint. What are you talking about?
But it's got an invocation. It's kind of a reprint.
You are impossible.
I
Oh
am
my
impossible. Well, the thing is, I looked through all the multicolor cards. There wasn't anything of too much import that I liked, and honestly, I like the Scarab God. I wish I could choose it for my other one, but it's a really, really strong card, and I want it to drop in price so badly.
A reprint in its own set. The Scarab God. All right, fine, Greg. I'll let you get away with that one too. The Zazon Tamar and the Scarab God. Your multicolor section is a little suspect there, buddy. All right, so moving along. Favorite artifact reprint. I'm gonna say Aether Vial. It's just so incredibly clutch in so many modern decks. And, in like Hate Bears decks and the Humans decks, one of the more expensive cards that you'll have to buy. It still commands a roughly $30 price tag, but very much so needed a reprint. I think we need more and more reprints of this card. This card probably should be somewhere in the realm of $20 or sub $20, but yeah, it's amazing. One drop for an artifact that gets a charge counter every turn that you can essentially put cards out for free at instant speed. It's so good. So, Aether Vial, my pick. Favorite artifact reprint. Greg, what do you got?
Adaptive Automaton. I am a huge Tribal fan. It is a 3 generic artifact. It is still high price, though. Even though it got a reprint in the Explorers, it is still around $12.
Wow.
Right?
That's a good pick. Yeah, Tribal.
When it enters the battlefield, you name a creature type, and creatures of the chosen type get +1/+1, and it is the same creature type. Yeah, it's a strong card. It's really good. Does a lot of fun stuff, but it is still expensive.
Yep. And that Explorers of Ixalan product just seems more and more worth it to actually get it. I mean, it looks kind of fun to play anyway, but yeah, man,
it is actually a lot of fun.
There's a lot of value.
Yeah,
in those
like
cards
that Mirari's Wake.
Yeah, Mirari's Wake. I mean,
Time Warp.
You got that Register Alpha. I mean, that totally kind of crushed the price, but
oh yeah, it really did.
Still good. Still really good.
Yeah.
All right, so our last category here is we have the best reprinted land, and I'm going to follow suit with my favorite new land, Unclaimed Territory. This is its daddy. The reason why you can play so many good multicolored creatures in Modern and Legacy and Vintage and Commander. I mean, shoot, let's be real. Why can't I think of the name right now? I didn't even write it down.
Cavern of Souls?
It's Cavern of Souls. This card is so unbelievably good. Originally printed in Avacyn Restored. It can tap for a colorless, and it can tap to provide 1 mana of any color to play a creature of the chosen type as it enters the battlefield. Oh man, I said that out of order. But it cannot be countered if you use the Cavern of Souls. So, more powerful than Unclaimed Territory, but having 8 of these lands in your deck that do essentially the same thing is extremely strong. 5-color creature decks seem very possible in multiple formats now. You can bet your boots there's probably going to be a 5-color sliver deck coming out pretty soon. People just haven't figured it all out yet.
Whoa, Lamont. Do you think Dominaria will have slivers?
Oh my god. Greg.
And will they be human-shaped?
That is a great segue into another part of this episode. I'm going to preemptively say yes, slivers. But before we go that far, Greg, why don't you tell me what your favorite reprinted land is?
I like the fact that they reprinted enemy fetch lands this year.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That's a good
They
call.
needed a drop. They're still expensive, but hey,
oh, yeah.
which can.
Yep, they're going to be climbing right back up very soon. So hopefully they get reprinted in a standard set sometime, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe. Doubtful. Come on.
We might have to return to battle for Return to Zendikar sometime soon.
Oh, God.
Yep. Hopefully without Eldrazi. It would be nice to see it actually flourish and grow when we get some powerful cards again.
Something's going to happen. Obnixilis wants it.
Something will definitely happen. Yep. Indeed. All right. So that wraps up our lists. Thanks for hanging out and putting up with that. But we are going to press on. We received another listener email, and we would love to share this with you guys. It's a different topic, but still interesting nonetheless, and we want to impart whatever knowledge we can, help you guys out here. So we have an email from Nick, and Nick says, I am thinking about investing into some booster boxes to hold on to, but I'm not sure if I should. And if so, what sets? I see that unhinged booster boxes are $550 at least, so maybe I should get unstable. Also, I am going to a modern event in the future and I'm looking for weird, unusual deck to use in this event. Love the podcast. Keep up the great work, Nick. All right. Well, Nick, thank you so very, very much for the email. We really appreciate it. But this brings up a very, very interesting topic. MTG finance is a very broad spectrum, and one of the aspects that has been popular in the past is the thought of investing in booster boxes, thinking that you will be able to sell them for a much higher price in the future. Greg, what is your immediate reaction to the thought of booster boxes as an investment?
Buy old. Immediate thought, buy old. If you can get your hands on old sets that have reserved cards in them at a good price, buy it, pack it away. Because the good thing is let's say you spend, well, I mean, we'll look at Legends, for instance. A few months ago, you could pick up boxes of that for probably around a couple $100, maybe $5-ish. Now they're easily doubled in price.
Oh, I would say way, way more than that.
They might be more than that. But the thing is like, if you're going to pick up sets with reserve cards in them that get played in old formats, especially with the rise of the team trios constructed, the value turnover could be monumentally and soon. Standard product has bad turnover. It's never worth it to invest unless you can hold on to it for like 10 years. I mean, if you look at original Ravnica block right now, those have great prices on them. They are not cheap because people want the original Art Shocklands, but it's just not as good. Same thing with Zendikar. I mean, look at Rise of Eldrazi box prices right now. Packs are, what, $22 a pop?
Mm-hmm.
So I would always suggest buy old. Buy sets that have cards that are valuable to Legacy, Vintage, and Modern. If you're looking on something that's going to be the long haul, Standard is a fine way to get in because you could pick up boxes at like $70. So at the amount that you can invest in for like Legacy stuff, you could get a case of Standard and just hold on to it. But your value just isn't as good.
Right.
The uptick on Standard cards is not going to be for another like 10 years.
Right. I mean, the market will be prevalent with standard sets, obviously, while they're in standard. Once they go out of print, the value does drop just a little bit as they rotate. But then, the allure of old cards being valuable and being used in these new decks does tend to spark interest in investing. Now, we're also living in a world of master sets, which is and commander sets and conspiracy. So the thought of reprints is very, very much a thing. And they do like to reprint cards that start to get too expensive. I mean, we've seen that with Fetch Lands. We saw that with Liliana of the Veil.
Horizon Canopy.
Horizon Canopy, exactly. So Wizards does a pretty good job of keeping a lot of these cards affordable. That's why newer booster boxes are a little bit more sketchy in terms of investing, unless you want to really kind of watch the market. I know my first thought of fairly recent boxes that are affordable, something like Khans of Tarkir, because they did have the Fetch Lands in that set. And I don't know the next time that they'll be able to reprint the Allied Color Fetch Lands. But they're definitely holding their value, and they will gradually increase in price. There's still a lot of boxes out there, so you're not going to see any immediate growth in that. And then, Greg, actually, just to circle back, I just looked up a sealed box of Legends on eBay. It's going for about $8,500.
Wow.
And
I'm pretty sure boxes of that were in the $800 to $1,000 range beginning of the year.
They're super expensive. Lots of ridiculously expensive cards in there. But in terms of more affordable boxes, if you can get your hands on a box of Unstable, that might be a good thing to do because there's a lot of hype. People seem to love opening it, drafting it, and the lands. You cannot say enough about how popular these lands have become. I mean, at the store championships we were at on Friday, I saw multiple people bringing their full art Unstable lands and playing them in their decks, and they just look fantastic. And those are not going to get a reprint for God knows how long.
If ever.
So maybe. And plus, there's the God box. thought as well. And the foil
Yeah.
full art lands are super expensive. So,
Yeah.
you know, if you can get your hands on a box of Unstable, I would definitely recommend that, and then you can hold on to that for a little while, but don't hold on to it for too long, because Mark Rosewater did do a survey on Twitter, when do you want to see the next Unset come out already? And, you know, the thought was 2 to 3 years, 4 to 5, 6 to 7, and 8 or 9 plus. I think they're going to be cranking another Unset out here. Crank contraptions. Probably within the next 5 years. And that may be a good thing, it may be a bad thing, who knows. But if you do want to invest in Unstable, I would buy a box and then look to maybe get out of it in the next 2 to 3 years. And it's mostly based on the value of the lands, because the rest of the cards aren't really worth too much.
No. I lost what my thought was. Never mind.
That's okay. And then if you're looking at like master sets, I mean, Modern Masters 2017 does have the enemy fetches in it. I don't know when they're going to reprint that anytime soon. And plus you've got huge cards like Lily, Goyf, other things. So if you can get your hands on one of those, you might want to hang on to it. Iconic Masters, you can find boxes for $130 on eBay. And the value in that set is spread out so thick. Like the rares are expensive, the mythics are expensive, the uncommons and a lot of the commons are actually going to see some good value growth over the next couple of years. But again, if we see multiple master sets coming out each year, it's going to be tough to have cards maintain their value. So yeah, I would just harken back to what Greg said. If you have the money to invest in older reserve list boxes, that's the route where you want to see some serious growth. But if you want to buy more recent sets, I would honestly probably go with Unstable, or, you know, maybe sets that have much more of the sought after land cards in them, because things like fetches are very expensive.
Yeah.
So
No, you're right.
yeah. And then moving on to the second part of the email, he is playing Modern recently and wants to know an interesting Modern deck to play. He wants a weird, unusual deck, was what he said. So we're no strangers to brewing and liking to do fun and interesting things. So Greg, what are some ideas of Modern decks that Nick could play here?
Well, I think of a variant on Storm and play Goblin Storm, because you run things like Empty the Warrens, which allows you to put out 2 1/1 goblins for each spell cast this turn, and then you use something like Voracious Dragon to drop, and the Voracious Dragon eats a number of dudes, and you get to like devour 1. That's the irrelevant part. It's deals double the amount of damage equal to the number of creatures it controls if the creatures eaten were goblins.
Mm-hmm.
So you eat 10, you deal 20, you win the game.
Yep.
It plays a little bit differently than Grape Shot, but hey, if you want to play a little bit more creatures in Storm, it's a lot of fun. I like it. There's a Legacy variant that I think is even more fun, but that's Legacy.
Right. Another kind of more powerful deck archetype is just generically called Creature Toolbox, and this could be taken in any direction. I mean, you've got cards like Chord of Calling, Eldritch Evolution, and Collected Company that will let you just rip through your deck and find the cards you need to combo if you want to do, not necessarily the Druid Vizier Infinite combo, but there's a lot of ways to get the right creature you want for certain situations. Usually, toolboxy creature decks will involve green, and then you can just pair that up with whatever color you want. There's actually another deck that I haven't actually seen for a while, but I remember watching. It was called Eternal Command. It has seen some competitive play, but it uses cards like Eternal Witness and Cryptic Command and Snapcaster Mage and Aether Vial to basically just get gigantic value out of very powerful spells. And the fact that you're running Eternal Witness with Aether Vial means you can just get stuff back for free, whether it's a snap or whether it's a Cryptic Command or whether it's a counterspell.
Or another Eternal Witness.
Or another Eternal Witness, absolutely. Yeah. And then Another one interesting, Greg, you mentioned earlier Genesis Wave. I remember in standard Khans of Tarkir there was a card called Villainous Wealth, and there was a standard deck involving Villainous Wealth and Dictate of Karametra, which is a flash enchantment that essentially doubles your mana. So you'd wait until your opponent's end step, do Dictate of Karametra, and then Villainous Wealth for a ton of mana, which lets you look through you rip cards off the top of your opponent's library and play them for free. Right, you exile them and then you play them for free. Now you can go Genesis Wave also if you wanted to do like a Green Devotion ramp deck that'll do fun things like that. You could even do Green Devotion and just splash for Villainous Wealth if you wanted to go that route instead.
You could.
In those cases, you'd want a card like Nykthos, Shrine to Nyx, so you can get that devotion. It would pretty much just be mono green except for Villainous Wealth, which sounds like it could be a lot of fun. Especially if you're running that Primal Amulet. You flip it, you double that spell. I mean, that's fun. And then the last deck that I had here written down, I've heard it on stream. I watch a lot of Twitch. Referred to as Doubling Stevens. I think it was Todd Stevens making a doubling season deck with a lot of Planeswalkers. I mean, that's just fun. Who doesn't like playing Planeswalkers and ultimating them the turn they come into play? Yeah, and you could go any direction you want with this. I mean, you start looking at Planeswalkers as the value comes in their ultimate, which is fun. I mean, it's who doesn't want to play a Tamiyo, draw 3 cards, and have all their cards cost nothing for the rest of the game? I mean, that seems super fun.
That seems busted. I've had people do that to me.
Oh yeah, totally. So, were there any other decks you wanted to mention, Greg, about fun or random crazy decks?
No, I think you got all the ones that I like too. So.
Okay. All right, and then, like we say in some other episodes, if you want some inspiration, head over to MTG Top 8, click the Modern tab, and you can see all the most popular decks that are played within the last 2 months. You can filter cards like most played cards, all that fun stuff. So anyway, hopefully that was some help, Nick. I wish you all the best in your booster box investing and your modern playing. So, we are moving along here in this episode.
Before we move too far past finance ideas, I have something I wanted to talk about.
Yes, please.
There was a recent buyout online of a card called Bazaar Baghdad. It went from being like $400, $500 to $1,500. This is a gross price. And this happened because somebody bought out all copies that were online at a time. Now, this is just something that I want to tie into with the whole box buying stuff. This is a thing that happens with cards that are good. So if you're buying boxes, if you're buying cards, anything that's reserve list, if you're looking to move them, hold on to them.
Yep.
The prices go up. People do buyouts. And they go up in price, they succeed, but it's a pain in the butt because then everybody needs it.
Yep.
And now they're really expensive. And it only happens in old stuff. You aren't going to see it in the newer stuff. I mean, if you haven't seen it, Arabian Nights Mountain.
Huh.
Do you know how much Arabian Nights Mountains are?
No, but I do know that it was the only basic land printed in Arabian Nights.
They're $6.
Jeez, for a basic mountain.
Mm-hmm. Now, one of the funny things is there's a reason to why it's $6. There is a guy out there who has somewhere in like the thousands of these.
Jeez.
Because he likes the art. So he buys them. And he is the reason why this card is $6.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Wow. All right. Okay, so Greg, before we get out of here, actually, we have some. Do you want to do news and announcements?
There is some news. It is kind of interesting.
All right, why don't we head over to As Foretold. All right, Greg, what do we got in the world of news and announcements at the end of the year here?
Well, store championships are still running through till tomorrow, so go and get one if you can. Tomorrow being the 31st. We have the new year starting We got Rivals of Ixalan being busted. I mean, we hope so. Then Dominaria in April. Now, this past week, we got key art for Dominaria.
Yes, we did.
And this artwork was painted by Tyler Jacobson. And it shows Karn with Teferi and Joyra. Now, of course, key characters, that's really cool. They're on Dominaria. And it looks like they're on wreckage of some sort, possibly a farm, possibly a skyship. It's hard to say. The two moons of Dominaria are sitting up in the sky. But I saw something interesting when I was looking at this.
What, Greg? What did you see?
So if you look to the just under Karn's fist, there is a silhouette in the sky. And if you zoom in it, take a good look. It looks like the skyship Weatherlight.
Oh,
now, I believe that this had been destroyed when it ran into the Predator flagship, but it's going to be an interesting thing to see if the skyship Weatherlight is still running.
Hey, Greg. You know we have vehicles in Magic now, right?
Yeah.
Could the skyship Weatherlight possibly be printed as a vehicle?
I mean, it's possible.
Oh my gosh.
And do you know what I want to see?
What's that?
I want to see it be piloted. It can only be crewed by a planeswalker.
Oh my gosh.
But not like how Harder Kieran works. It would essentially be you need to have a planeswalker with a certain amount of loyalty to use this card.
Huh. Or what if it had abilities that required you to use a planeswalker loyalty to activate?
Oh my god. Jeez. The possibilities could be endless. I mean, it is a planeswalking ship.
Yep. And
oh, wait a minute.
I'm waiting.
So, we read Karn's lore the other day, right?
We did.
And
we also read Teferi's lore before that.
What was something that Karn was talking about when he was working in the engine room of the skyship Weatherlight?
How he had helped the skyship Weatherlight evolve and that he could communicate with it.
So, does that mean the skyship Weatherlight possibly had a mind?
You know, it could.
Could the skyship Weatherlight be a planeswalker?
Oh my gosh! I mean, we see Karn as an artificial planeswalker already. You know, anything is possible.
Yeah.
Greg, I am super excited for this, and this also means that we're gonna have to round out the lore for this team here and do the lore on Joyra coming up pretty soon. We may even do an episode just encompassing the Weatherlight as well. And
geez, that's a long story, man.
We are going to we briefly touched on it last episode. We're going to be kind of redoing our episode structure, making it a little bit tighter. So this being the last episode of 2017, we just want to let you guys know that the Win Condition is going to become a podcast that focuses on 3 main subjects. Each episode, we're going to bring you lore, we are going to bring you news, and we are going to bring you brews. Now, we're going to categorize certain things that way, but each week we want to bring you part of a story for a character or the current story of the standard season, as well as any pertinent news and information and anything that we are brewing or cooking up or any new decks that we see surfacing on the competitive scene. So you can know what to expect when you tune into the Win Condition. You know, we are going to be your source for lore, news, and brews starting in 2018.
We look forward to providing you with it.
Absolutely. And more giveaways. So our first giveaway of 2018 should be coming up pretty soon here, and we'll let you know when that happens and how you can enter. So Greg, why don't we tell them all that they can go to Flipside Gaming at flipsidegaming.com and order any sealed boxes that they might want to invest in. And any order that's over $10, they can use that promo code WINCONDITION in all caps, save themselves 10%. Reminder, orders over $100, you get that free shipping. And you will also be contributing to help us fund these future show giveaways when you do purchase product off of flipsidegaming.com. gmail.com. Greg, where can these fine people find you?
You guys can find me at NoobSlasher2003 on Twitter. Now, you can also probably find me at GP Santa Clara next weekend. I'll probably be there on the evening of Sunday.
Oh, snap. Yeah, I'm not going to be going to GP Santa Clara, sadly, but I will be there in spirit. So the win condition will have a presence, Greg. Rep it hard.
I'm going to try to.
And you can find me at MTG_Sean. You can find the show at The Win Condition, both of those on Twitter. You can find us on Instagram at The Win Condition MTG. You can email us, thewinconditionpodcast@gmail.com. Check out our YouTube page. We'll put a link in the show notes. I swear I will upload videos sometime soon. Definitely be getting better about that in 2018. But anyway, all that being said, Greg, thank you again for a great year of podcasting.
Hey, no problem. Look forward to the next one.
And we will talk to y'all next week.
Yeah.